In this video tutorial, I am going to discuss about Lac operon. This Lac operon was put forward by two scientists, Jacob and Monod. Jacob and Monod. These two researchers had put forward the theory of Lac operon in 1961. And 4 years later, that is in the 1965, they got the Nobel Prize for this Lac operon. So before we try to understand what is Lac operon, we have to first understand what is the meaning of operon, right? So what is the meaning of operon? The operon, it is a cluster of gene. It is the cluster of genes. That means multiple genes cluster is there. And what kind of cluster is it? It's a cluster of genes which coordinate with each other. Suppose these are the different genes. These are three different genes. So they coordinate with each other. And coordinate for what? They coordinate with each other to regulate one particular function. So operon, it is a cluster of genes which coordinate with each other, to regulate one particular function, function, that is the operon, right? So in case of Lac operon, that one particular function, it is related with the lactose handling. So what is Lac operon? Lac operon, it is a cluster of genes which coordinate with each other to regulate this one particular function, that is handling of lactose. That is known as Lac operon. Okay, so let's first look at the structure of Lac operon. The structure of Lac operon. Now we know that Lac operon, it was originally described in the E. coli. Okay, so suppose this is one particular fraction of DNA of E. coli. This E. coli is of the prokaryotes. Okay, so this is the DNA of E. coli, which contains a cluster of genes which are related with the handling of lactose. So on the leftmost side, there is Lac I gene. Then there is CRE. This CRE location is there, or CRE locus is there. Then there is a promoter region which is shown by this capital P, and there is a operator region is there. Now this promoter, the boundary between promoter and operator, this is the boundary between promoter and operator, but there is no any clear cut boundary between promoter region and operator region. Why? Because some part of the promoter is overlapped in the operator and some part of the operator is overlapped on the promoter. So promoter and operator, there is a overlapping. So there is no clear cut boundary. So the region of promoter, this much part is the promoter. Which part is the operator? This much part is of the operator. So you can see that this much part is the overlapping part. Okay. Then after operator, there are three structural genes. One is Lac Z, that is Lac Z, then Lac Y and Lac A. These three structural genes are there. Now these three genes, this Lac Z, Lac Y and Lac A, when they undergo transcription, they give rise to continuous mRNA. They give rise to single mRNA. Okay, this is mRNA. Now this mRNA is special. Why? Because it has multiple initiation site and multiple termination site. So understand it like this. So the part, suppose this is Lac Z gene. Okay, this is the DNA. This upper part, this part is the DNA, right? This yellow part, that corresponding part, this yellow Lac Z, the corresponding part on mRNA is this much. Okay, then we have this Lac Y gene and the corresponding part on the mRNA is this much part. Okay, Lac Y. And then we have Lac A gene. This is the Lac A gene. Okay, and the corresponding part on mRNA is this. So each corresponding part, it is one initiation codon. So initiation codon is AUG for Lac Y, and AUG, that is start codon for the leg A, and each has termination codon. So, termination codon for this leg Z, then termination codon for this leg Y, and termination codon for the leg A. So, this mRNA, it has multiple initiation site and multiple termination site. So, that 3 initiation site and 3 termination sites are there. So, you can easily imagine that when this mRNA undergoes translation, what will happen? How many proteins are getting synthesized? There are total 3 protein, one corresponding to this yellow part, one corresponding to this blue part, and one corresponding to this green part, and each of this color corresponds to leg Z, leg Y, and leg A respectively. So, there are 3 proteins synthesized. The first protein which is corresponding to this leg Z, the second protein which is corresponding to this leg Y gene, and the third protein which is corresponding to this leg A gene. The protein which is synthesized by this portion, by the portion corresponding leg Z, it is the beta galactosidase. It is the beta galactosidase. This is enzyme. The second protein which is getting synthesized, which corresponds to leg Y gene, is the lactose permease. It is the lactose permease. The third protein which corresponds to this leg A gene, it is the thiogalactoside transacetylase. Thiogalactoside transacetylase. So, these 3 proteins are synthesized from this leg Z, leg Y, and leg A. Now, what are the functions of this protein? This beta galactosidase, it hydrolyzes lactose. This lactose permease, as its name suggests, it increases permeability of lactose to the E. coli cell membrane. Okay. And this thiogalactoside transacetylase, its function is not known. So, as you can see, the final functional product of this leg Z, leg Y, and leg A, these are 3 enzymes, and each of this enzyme, it has a function other than the regulatory function, right? They are carrying out some work, they are not regulating something else. So, that is why we call these genes as structural genes, But this leg I gene, this particular leg I gene, it is regulatory gene. It is considered as a regulatory gene. Why regulatory gene? Because the final product of leg I gene, it binds with the operator, so it regulates this leg operon. So, it is known as regulatory gene. And the genes which are not regulatory, they are known as structural genes. Now, what are this CRE region, this promoter region, operator region? These are not genes. Why? Because they are not undergoing transcription or translation. They are just a part of DNA which carries out some other function. For example, this promoter region on this DNA, it is meant for binding with RNA polymerase, right? This operator, it has some particular function. This CRE region, it has some particular function. Okay. This CRE, the full form of this CRE location is the cape response element. It's a cape response element. Okay, the full form, the full name of the CRE is the cape response element. In certain book, instead of cape, it is considered as a cyclic AMP response element. So, both the long forms are okay. Okay, certain book says it's a cape response element, certain book says it's a cyclic AMP response element. Now, we need to understand that how this leg operon is functioning, how it is regulating the expression of certain genes. Okay, so to understand this, we have to understand 3 situations or 3 conditions. So, first I am taking condition A. In this condition, lactose is absent. lactose is absent. Okay, and we will see what happens to this lac operon. Okay, so I am rewriting this lac operon. I am redrawing this structure of lac operon. Okay, we know that on the extreme left we have lac I gene, then there is CRE region, then there is promoter region, then there is operator region. We also know that promoter and operator region there is certain overlapping. Okay, after operator region there is lac Z gene, lac Y gene and lac A gene. Okay, so now we know that lac I gene is the regulatory gene. Okay, it is regulatory gene, but in addition to being a regulatory gene, this lac I gene, it is also constitutive gene. It is constitutive gene, and we had already discussed what is the meaning of constitutive gene in the previous lecture. The constitutive gene means the gene which is always working, which is being always expressed. So lac I gene, it is always expressed irrespective of any condition. So as in this condition lactose is absent, it does not have any effect on this lac I gene. It is always being expressed. That means this lac I gene, it is creating mRNA. So this is mRNA by the process of transcription, right? In this mRNA there is only one initiation site and only one termination site. Okay, so this can undergo translation. This mRNA can undergo translation and codes for the protein, and the name of the protein which is coded by this lac I mRNA, it is repressor subunit. Repressor subunits. Now as this mRNA has only one initiation and only one termination site, it always translated to only single type of protein. Okay, so this is repressor subunit. Now this translation goes on second time, so there is second repressor subunit. So multiple repressor subunits are synthesized by the cyclic process. These repressor subunits, they have affinity towards each other. So 4 repressor subunits binds with each other and they form a repressor tetramer. Repressor tetramer. This repressor tetramer, it binds with this operator region. It binds with this operator. So what happens? This repressor, this second subunit, this is third subunit and this is fourth subunit. So here as you can see, this repressor subunits, this repressor tetramer, it is bound with this operator. It is bound with this operator, and we know that operator and promoters are overlapping, right? So what will happen? The RNA polymerase, suppose this is RNA polymerase. Now this RNA polymerase, it cannot bind with the promoter. Why? Because when this repressor tetramer, it is bound with the operator, it is also bound with the some portion of the promoter. Why? Because operator location, that operator part is up to this level, right? Remember this part, this shaded part, this lined part, it is overlapping part. So this tetramer, it is also bound with the promoter. So now once partial promoter is occupied, it cannot allow this RNA polymerase to bind with it. So now RNA polymerase fails to bind with the promoter, and so all the downstream genes, this lac Z, lac Y and lac A, they cannot transcripted. Okay, there is no transcription, and we know the product of this lac Z, lac Y and lac A. These are the lactose metabolizing enzyme. This enzyme cannot be transcribed, right? Cannot be synthesized. So this is the effect when lactose is absent. So see how smart the mother nature is. When the lactose is absent, this lac operon makes sure that no any enzyme which handles the lactose is synthesized, right? So no lactose, so no need of lactose handling enzyme, and so no transcription occur, and this is how it is regulated. Okay, now let's look at the second condition. Condition 2 or condition B. In this condition, suppose lactose is present. Okay, so now to understand this, I am again drawing this LAC operon. Okay, so this is LAC operon. This is LAC operon. On the leftmost, we have LAC I gene, then we have CRE location, then we have promoter location or promoter region, then we have operator region. We all know that promoter and operator both are overlapping, which I am showing by this lining. Then there is LAC Z, then LAC Y and LAC A. These three structural genes are there. Now, we had seen earlier that LAC I is a constitutive gene, right? That means irrespective of any condition, here lactose is present. So, irrespective of whatever condition, this LAC I gene, it is always transcribing. So, LAC I gene transcribes to mRNA. So, mRNA is synthesized by the process of transcription. From this mRNA, by the process of translation, repressor subunits are synthesized. Repressor subunits are synthesized. So, these are the repressor subunits, okay, which has affinity for each other. So, ultimately makes repressor tetramer. Repressor tetramer. And this repressor tetramer is the active form. That means it can bind with this operator. But here our condition is lactose is present. So, lactose, it's a disaccharide, it's a glucose plus galactose. So, this is glucose and this is galactose bound with each other by this galactosidase linkage. So, multiple lactose molecules are there. So, this is lactose, these are the lactose molecule. These lactose molecules actually binds with this repressor tetramer. They binds with this repressor tetramer. So, ultimately this repressor tetramer, it is like this and it is bound with this lactose. So, now this repressor tetramer is inactive. It is inactive. This repressor tetramer is inactive. That means it cannot bind with this operator region. It cannot bind with this operator region. So, what will happen? So, RNA polymerase can bind with the promoter. RNA polymerase can bind with the promoter. Why? Because here the repressor tetramer is inactive. So, one condition is fulfilled. What is one condition? That condition for binding of RNA polymerase to promoter, the one condition is that operator should be free. Operator should not be bound with this repressor tetramer, right? That one condition is fulfilled. But there is a second requirement also is there for the binding of this promoter region to the RNA polymerase. And what is that second requirement? The second requirement is related with this CRE region. It is related with this CRE region. This CRE region is very, very important. Why? Because this CRE region, it needs two things. One thing is cap, that is this CAP, that cap. The full form of this CAP is the catabolic activator protein. It's a catabolic activator protein, or the other, in some book it is written as a cyclic AMP activator protein. Okay, both are the accepted short form of the CAP. This cap, it needs to bind with the cyclic AMP. Suppose this small circle is of the cyclic AMP. This cap, when it binds with the cyclic AMP, then it can occupy the space on this CRE element. So, this is our cap, this is cap, and this is cyclic AMP. So, this cap cyclic AMP complex, it needs to bound with the CRE element, and that is the second requirement for the RNA polymerase to bind with the promoter. Now, in any given time in E. coli bacteria, this cap is always in the enough amount, cap is always in the excess amount. Only limiting factor is the cyclic AMP. Why? Because cyclic AMP is synthesized from the ATP. Cyclic AMP, it is synthesized from the ATP, and any organism, ATP is always limiting factor, and from this ATP to cyclic AMP, that conversion is by the adenyl cyclase. This enzyme is very important. When this adenyl cyclase enzyme is active, at that time only ATP is converted to cyclic AMP. This CAP, it is always in the excess amount, so it is not a limiting factor. What is limiting factor? Limiting factor is the cyclic AMP. But when only lactose is present, at that time adenyl cyclase is normally functioning. So enough amount of cyclic AMP is there. So CAP and cyclic AMP, they make enough CAP cyclic AMP complex which can bind with this CRE element. Now once this CRE element is bind with this complex, what happens? There is protein-protein interaction between this CAP, okay, this CAP is protein, that is catabolic activator protein, and RNA polymerase. This is enzyme, so it is also protein. So there is protein-protein interaction between this CAP cyclic AMP complex and RNA polymerase. And this protein-protein interaction, it is good thing. Why? Because it increases the efficiency of this RNA polymerase. Increases efficiency of RNA polymerase. So see, the binding of RNA polymerase to the promoter, there needs to be two conditions needs to be fulfilled. One condition is that operator must be free from repressor tetramer. That is first condition. Second condition is that this CRE element, it should be bound with the CAP cyclic AMP complex. Once these two conditions are fulfilled, then only RNA polymerase can work efficiently. Now what is the meaning of work efficiently? That means once RNA polymerase binds with the promoter, these three genes like Z, like Y and like A, they start expressing themselves. Now what does mean of expression? First, these three genes undergo transcription, and we had already discussed that they gives rise to only single mRNA. So this is mRNA and it has multiple initiation site, multiple termination site corresponding to this each gene. Okay, so it gives rise to three protein. One is beta galactosidase, then there is a permease, second is permease, that is lactose permease, and third is thiogalactoside transacetylase. This lactose permease allows lactose inside the E. coli bacteria, and this beta galactosidase, it breaks down the lactose. Okay, so this thing happen when the lactose is present. Now let's discuss about the third condition. Condition C. In this condition, lactose is present and glucose is also present. So to understand this, we need to draw a lac operon, right? So this is lac operon, and we know that on the leftmost side we have lac I gene, then we have CRE region, then we have promoter region, then we have operator region, and between promoter and operator both are overlapping with each other. Then we have lac Z, or you can say lac Z, then lac Y and lac A gene. All the genes are in sequence. This sequence is always maintained. Okay, so we have to draw accordingly. This lac I gene, we know that it is a constitutive gene, so it is always expressed. So there is this mRNA is synthesized, and from this mRNA repressor subunits are synthesized. This repressor subunit binds with each other and forms a repressor tetramer. But here you can see the lactose is present. So what will happen? This repressor tetramer, it can binds with this lactose molecules. Okay, so this binds with this repressor tetramer and inactivates this repressor tetramer. Okay, lactose is bound with this. So this is inactive repressor tetramer. Okay, so we can see that this operator, it is free. Why? Because repressor tetramer is inactive. So what do you think? RNA polymerase RNA polymerase will it bind with this promoter? So answer is yes, this RNA polymerase can bind with the promoter. But let's talk about the second condition. The first condition was that operator should be free. The second condition is that this CRE element, it should be bound with the cyclic AMP bound cap. Okay, cyclic AMP bound cap, that is catabolic activator protein. So we know that cap, this cap protein is always in the enough quantity. So there is no problem of supply of this cap, catabolic activator protein. But what about cyclic AMP? Cyclic AMP needs to get synthesized from the ATP, right? And the enzyme which is required is the adenyl cyclase. Without this enzyme, cyclic AMP cannot be synthesized. This glucose, there is a twist in the story. This glucose, it inhibits this adenyl cyclase. So what will happen? Cyclic AMP decreases. So there is no formation of this CAPE cyclic AMP complex. So as this complex is not formed, it cannot bond with the CRE element. So what will happen? The second condition is not fulfilled. First condition is fulfilled, no doubt in that. Why? Because RNA polymerase can bind with the promoter. Why? Because repressor is inactive because of the lactose. But as glucose is also present, and this glucose, it inhibits adenyl cyclase. So cyclic AMP is not formed. CAP is in the enough amount. So there is no formation of this CAPE cyclic AMP complex. And this complex is required to bind with the CRE. That is our second condition, which is not getting fulfilled. So although RNA polymerase is binding with the promoter, that binding is not efficient. So what will happen? These genes are not transcribed. So what is the final effect? That RNA polymerase cannot efficiently bind the promoter. See, we are using this word efficiently. Why? Because RNA polymerase, in this case, it is able to bind with the promoter temporarily, but it is not efficiently able to bind. Okay, so why this is happening? Because there is no cyclic AMP cap, complex bound to CRE. So here we had seen three conditions. In condition A, we had seen lactose is absent. At that time, leg Z, Y and A, they are not transcribed. In the condition B, we had seen lactose present. So at that time, what will happen? This leg Z, leg Y and leg A, these are getting transcribed, so that beta galactosidase, lactose permease and thiogalactoside transacetylase, these are synthesized, and so they can handle the lactose. So this is good thing. In condition C, we had seen lactose is present and glucose is also present. At that time, what will happen? Initially, this leg Z, Y and A, these are not transcribed. So what will happen? Lactose will not able to get utilized, but glucose will utilized as a carbon source. Once glucose is utilized, then what will happen? Only lactose is present. So this condition C is converted to condition B, right? So only lactose is present. So after that, this leg Z, Y and A will start expression. Okay. Now in the earlier video, we had seen three type of response, right? Type A response, type B response and type C response. Now you need to apply your knowledge and you need to decide what kind of the response this lac operon is giving. So initially this lac operon is at the depressed state, right? And as a stimulant, suppose we are providing lactose over here. So suppose lactose is provided for this much time. So this is on this y-axis, there is gene expression, and on the y-axis, it is on this x-axis, there is a time. Okay, and for this much time, we are providing lactose. So what will happen? As soon as the lactose is provided, within a 5 minutes, the gene expression reaches up to the maximum level, the gene expression of this LEC-Z, LEC-Y and LEC-A. It will remain elevated till the lactose is there. Once lactose is withdrawn, what will happen? The gene expression once again it comes to the bottom. So in the previous video, we had seen various type of response, various type of stimulus and the response on the gene expression. So this is a type A response, type A response. Okay, if this is not clear to you, please watch my previous video of the type A, type B and type C response of the gene expression. Now, one tricky question is there. Suppose we introduce lactose structural analog. For example, isopropyl thiogalactoside. Isopropyl thiogalactoside. Then what will happen? Its short form is IPTG. If you provide isopropyl thiogalactoside or IPTG, then what will happen? See the condition B. In the condition B, we are providing lactose. Okay. So if you provide lactose analog, the same thing will happen. Okay. So this repressor subunit will be inhibited. RNA polymerase will able to bind with the promoter. The second condition will also be fulfilled. Why? Because glucose is not present. So adenyl cyclase is functioning at its full capacity. So this cap cyclic MP complex, it can bind with this CRE. Okay. So this RNA polymerase will able to transcribe and translate. Okay. So all this enzyme will get synthesized, but these enzymes, their substrate will be absent. Why? Because instead of this lactose, we had utilized the structural analog of lactose. We have utilized lactose analog. So this enzyme cannot act on lactose analog. Okay. So when you provide a lactose structural analog like isopropyl thiogalactoside to the LEC operon, at that time LEC operon will be stimulated, but the product enzyme, that is beta galactosidase, permease, it will not able to work on the structural analog, and so such type of stimulant, they are known as gratuitous inducers. Okay, so this is important concept, you need to remember it. So if you have any query or confusion, please write it down in the comment section below. I will try to answer it. Thank you.